Hello YouTube, Jonathan800 here. So I'm gonna do a video of things I would personally want to see in Hearts of Iron 4 like changed or such. So the first thing I really want is bonuses for the lower economy laws, because more consumer goods usually would mean a happier population. So I thought, because don't want it too extreme, 5% more stability and political power gain for civilian economy, 3% more for early MOB, and 1% for partial MOB. Anything higher, you don't really get any benefits, but penalty, besides what you already get, but penalties for higher mobilization laws could be a thing. Not sure if people will like it though. But I think it should be limited to when you are not at war or you are at low stability or war support. And I think it should only be limited to negative political power gain, because you really do not want it to be too extreme. The next thing I would like to change is the air designer, because there are a few things that bug me with it. Like 12 heavy machine guns, that's a lot to fit on a plane. And why are cannons useless? What I'm thinking could be changed is you can have only so many armaments. I'm thinking of like maximum of 8 machine guns and 4 cannons. And this could be represented like 2 slots dedicated to armament. What are you supposed to do with the rest? Actually make a multi-role or something like that. When it comes to the armaments themselves, I believe that both machine guns and cannons should reduce agility, therefore balancing them as like stat-wise. So you would want to use cans. Like cans should also do significantly more damage, but at the cost of more weight. Also, it might allow planes with like 2 heavy machine guns or like 1 cannon each wing, 2 cannons, more agile. So possibly making it to where cheaper planes could perform alright compared to more heavily armed planes. And also, agility should increase air attack and air defense, because a more agile plane would be harder to shoot down and able to fight more effectively. Fire should also be able to, this is going to be a hot top, what is that, whatever it's called. Fire should also be able to do close air support and logistic strikes missions with just machine guns and or cannons. It's going to be insanely small, like 0.5 damage per gun or cannon module, if you have like the 2. That way players can give fighters rocket rails, and now they are able to reinforce. Because the problem with planes is that the moment you have slightly different missions, you can't reinforce the previous planes, which is stupid. So this way you actually can reinforce the old planes if you add in a CAS module on your fighters. And rocket rails, from what I saw, they don't lower agility, and they only add 1 weight when you actually do put them on the close air support mission. So that's actually kind of nice. And when it comes to the next topic, will be focus trees. Everyone knows this. Japan needs a rework. Germany could use a touch-up. France is not great either, as one side is literally shooting yourself in the foot with less factory output and more consumer goods. Canada has been getting lots of love, which is great, I love that. But the other Commonwealth trees need more love too. Australia has the 1941 Prime Minister in charge in 1936 even. So that's showing you have the state of the other Commonwealth focus trees. Austria and Belgium could use trees. Luxembourg and Albania can't really do all that much, even if they were given some, without doing some like Arms Against Tyranny or Trial of Allegiance buffs, which are insane. Also, they should be put on the back burner, because Austria is basically Hungary in this case, and Belgium is basically the Netherlands. And we have trees for those 2 countries. And if anywhere needs focus trees, it is the Middle East or Southeast Asia. Those are neglected theaters of war, and they have hardly any content. I also already covered my idea for Germany rework in another video. Japan just needs to be rebuilt from scratch almost. There should be more to do with like Japan attacking the Soviets and such, and like Khalkhin Gol and similar. What is it? France, probably you can fix the form to popular front thing by giving more bonuses and also making some of the 70-day focuses 35 like in the industry tree. Like, holy smokes, I think that there's not a single 35-day tree in the French focus tree. Another random thing is Austria-Hungary should not be so RNG dependent. Everyone agrees with that. Like maybe higher opinions are pretty much guarantee a like the Czechs accepting. There also the claim focuses that give claims should also give decisions like 50 political power. That is like, give me Transylvania or you will be blown up to smithereens. And the next thing I'll talk about is tanks, and my problem is howitzers are extremely meta in single player, and I think the way to change it up is to force the tank. Howitzers should force the tank to become an SPG. That way it becomes 3 width, and they lose breakthrough, but they still maintain their high soft attack. Before you say, well, that you aren't forced into other roles as the others. Well, actually, SPAA. If you put an anti-air gun on your tank, it will be forced into SPAA. And when it comes to the other cans should allow tanks to stay designated as tanks. But high velocity cannons, they should be able to stay as tanks or turn into tank destroyers, because they could use more help. And on the topic of tank destroyers and SPAA, I believe they should be 1 with half the number of tanks as a regular tank battalion in them. Could be useful for minor countries that aren't able to produce many tanks, and it also helps get an odd combat width if necessary. So, because 35 widths fit perfectly into plains, deserts, and hills. 36 widths are much easier to get, but I just think it'd be nice to have some variety in tank divisions. Also, tanks should have their armor improved, basically, so infantry can't pierce them as easily. Like, you would need an actual like anti-tank gun to like pierce heavies, while your anti-air should be able to pierce mediums and 100% lights. Also, there's the infantry should also really struggle to pierce tanks until they get like that 1943 infantry tack. Infantry anti-tank tack, there we go. And when it comes to the increased armor, the tank stats should be adjusted accordingly for that. The last topic I want to cover is special forces, because paratroopers with the org reduction trait is incredibly busted. The amount of org reduced should be based on the number of battalions in the division. So a 2 width paratrooper doesn't nuke the entire section of the Atlantic Wall. Maybe actually, when I think of it, 10 width paratroopers are only 5 battalions, and I guess they could half the enemy's division's orgs like currently, but maybe 20 width would be more of a thing, because it should be more risk, like more bang for your buck. Like, you just dropped a 20 width paratrooper division behind enemy lines. You should get a reward for that, as in like a heavy org reduction by the enemy, while a 2 width is just like you're throwing a bunch of men away. It's like they shouldn't reduce that much org because you're not taking as much risk. Marine commandos are pretty useless actually, since they hardly blow anything up and you can't put anything else in them if you want to be able to leave without a port. And you could increase base soft attack, but that would make regular Marines pretty useless. So I think the best thing to do is let them blow up more stuff when they land. Like, you just go over and then oops, Hamburg just lost 5 civilian factories. I think that would be hilarious, and actually force players to cover the entire coastline with port guards. Probably not 5 civilian factories, but it is a funny thought that you just completely nuke a state of all of its factories. And on the topic of Marine Commandos, floating harbors actually need to act like ports because they are currently very, very, and literally useless the moment you land. Because they have no supply connection to the capital when you land, because they are just a supply hub, not a port. And when you're landing, I think it might actually give some supply, but I'm also pretty sure it doesn't. So they really need to make them useful. And with that, that's pretty much all I could think about. So thank you for listening or watching the background footage. Be sure to like and subscribe, you know the deal. And this is Jonathan 800 signing out.